All right, hello, and thank you so much for joining us for the Manitoba Stewardship Plan Consultation webinar. Today we're joined by four partners who have a part to play in this initiative. The Thermostat Recovery Program from HRAI, Canadian Battery Association, Call to Recycle, and the Health Products Stewardship Association. They're each going to present about 15 minutes on what they're doing from their end, at the end of which we'll leave time for a few questions, and you can also watch this video after the fact. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first presenter, Kathleen O'Malley, Environmental Project Specialist with HRAI, who will take you through the Thermostat Recovery Program. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, everyone, and thanks for taking the time to join us today. As Matt said, my name's Kathleen O'Malley. I'm Environmental Project Specialist with HRAI, and today I'm presenting the draft Manitoba Stewardship Plan for mercury-containing thermostats, which is a sunset product no longer sold in Canada. I'll be talking about the program background and operations, roles and key players, program products, collection process, circular economy, program performance, program targets, and what has changed. So HRAI was founded in 1968. It's a nonprofit trade association servicing the HVAC industry in Canada that represents over 1,100 member companies, including manufacturers, wholesalers, and contractors. HRAI has managed the Thermostat Recovery Program on behalf of thermostat manufacturers under an approved stewardship plan in Manitoba since 2016. Prior to that, the program was managed by Scout Environmental under Switch the Stat. The current approved plan expires on June 31st of this year, and this proposed plan covers a 5-year period from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2028, and sets targets for accessibility and collection under the Manitoba Stewardship Regulation. The TRP is a designated stewardship program focused on recovering mercury thermostats at end of life in the province of Manitoba. So TRP collects all thermostats, mercury and electronic. However, this plan only covers mercury thermostats because they are specifically stated in the Manitoba regulation. So mercury thermostats contain an internal mercury vessel shown here, which is mercury in a sealed glass bulb to control the flow of electrical current. Since 2008, all thermostats have been redesigned, eliminating the mercury vessel. So the end of production of the mercury-containing thermostats in Canada went from, 2004 Johnson Controls, 2006 Residio, and 2008 Emerson. They all stopped production in Canada. The designed lifespan is generally 20 to 30 years. However, in reality, every 7 to 10 years, the thermostats are replaced due to renovations and replacements. Thermostats can have 1 to 4 of these mercury vessels here in a thermostat. Each vessel contains 2.5 grams of mercury. So in reality, one thermostat could contain up to 10 grams of mercury. And it only takes 1 gram of mercury to contaminate a 20-acre lake, making the fish unsafe for consumption for a year. Mercury is a toxic heavy metal, inhibits brain and nervous system development, and can cause kidney malfunction and respiratory failure. So the plan will continue to use the same 3 collection channels from previous years to collect the mercury thermostats in Manitoba. So that's the HVAC contractors and wholesalers. They're the primary collection channel for the program. We also have regional districts and municipal recycling depots where the public can drop off their old thermostats, and the send back kits for those located in remote communities or who have mobility issues. They would get a smaller 1.25 gallon container, which can hold up to 4 thermostats. So registrants, they can go online and register. And then upon registration, the following materials are distributed. So we'll send out the 5-gallon pail shown here. That 5-gallon collection container, it's UN approved for storing and transporting mercury containing thermostats. They get a welcome letter and program instructions, information brochures for the customers to hand out, drop-off location poster, and a prepaid return Purelator courier waybill. Then the participants collect the thermostats, put them in the pail. When the pail's full, they'll use the Purelator waybill It's already prepaid, so they just call and arrange with Purelator to get the pail picked up. Pail goes to Avitas in Ontario, where they sort and count and dismantle the thermostats, and they send us monthly reports, and we collect the data on our online database. And then we also send out the replacement pails and new return way bills. And then the materials get processed, and I'll just talk about that on the next slide. So since 2006, the TRP program has collected just over 8,400 mercury vessels, over 6,400 mercury-containing thermostats, 363 kilograms of plastics, 128 kilograms of metals, 8 kilograms of glass, 21 kilograms of the mercury, and 102 batteries. So the mercury is sent to Bethlehem Apparatus in Pennsylvania, USA, where it undergoes a stabilizing treatment process, converting the elementary mercury to mercury sulfide, and then it goes for safe disposal in the landfill. The mercury recovered from thermostats is no longer processed for reuse due to the due to legislative requirements such as export bans and restrictions on the mercury products. And the plastics, well, since the 2018 ban on imported waste plastics into China, no amount of plastics through our program has been sent for recycling. This ban significantly limits the types of plastics accepted by recycling and stripping the e-waste plastics of the economic viability. So Avitas has been disposing all the collected plastics in the landfill. Some plastics through the e-waste recyclers are now being sent to Malaysia. However, that's not the case with Avitas at the moment with our plastic. The metals, they have high reuse and recycling value, and they are sent to Guelph, Ontario for recycled. It's usually a mix of iron, nickel, and aluminum. The glass is crushed and sent to landfill due to the quality impurities and the market demand, and the batteries are sent to Port Colborne, Ontario for recycling. So the TRP website will continue to be our primary educational tool. We also have our biweekly e-newsletter and the HRAI Spring and Fall magazine. The messaging that is used for outreach focuses on why old thermostats need to be recycled, the risks associated with the mercury, who funds the program, that the program is completely free to participate, collection options, and the program contact information. We also have we outreach to industry and regionally in Winnipeg and Manitoba as well. So the target for collection locations was 123 by 2021, and our actual locations was 104. So we reached about 85% of the target. We're currently at 105 collection locations consisting of 68 contractors, 21 wholesalers, 10 municipal, and 6 recycling depots. So as mentioned, we're currently at 105 collection locations, and TRP will reach out to approximately 27 product care household hazardous waste sites to invite them to join our program and register to ensure that mercury thermostats are being diverted and collected by TRP. Plus, we're currently working with the City of Winnipeg to sign an agreement, and we're also going to reach out to the City of Brandon to invite them to join our program. So with continued outreach, our target for this new plan is a 5% increase in collection locations, and our goal is to reach 140 by 2028. So the collection targets determined for the previous plan, they were based on research conducted in Ontario, as there was limited information available specifically to Manitoba. That data was gathered and it was adjusted on a per capita basis for Manitoba and adjusted upwards to ensure the program set ambitious collection targets. The actual results, however, in Manitoba have proven that the previous targets were impractical. So we had quite a low target, a low percent capture rate. And there's also 2020 and 2021 there. It's quite low there. It's probably due to COVID. So because the previous 5-year collection targets proved to be unrealistic, the actual collection results support the adjustment of new collection targets for this 5-year plan. So the approach for setting more realistic collection targets was to take the previous 5-year actual collection average, which is about 464 per year, and increase it by 5% per year. And that's with the exception of 2024, where we're going to do our outreach to product care and add a couple new municipal depots. Sales data for how many mercury-containing thermostats sold in Manitoba is unavailable. Therefore, it's not possible to predict when the TRP will be complete. And obviously, it's a sunset product, so the number of thermostats available for collection will decrease as the program matures. And changes from the previous plan, while it includes the increase in number of collection locations based on outreach to 140 by 2028, and more realistic collection targets were set based on the last year 5-year average. So our target number of thermostats collected will be 618 by 2028. And that concludes my summary. Feedback is welcome until January 27th. And you can email comments to trp@hrai.ca, and you can feel free to reach out to me if you like, and we'll take questions at the end. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. We're going to jump a bit ahead of schedule to Jason. I'm going to put him on the spot right now. Jason, are you there?
Absolutely.
Awesome. He's ready to go.
All right.
Jason was the Call to Recycle Director for Western Canada. Thank you so much for joining us, Jason.
Happy to be here.
All right. I'm going to throw it to you.
Great. Okay. I'm Jason Brown. I'm the Director of Western Canada for Call to Recycle. We are the Household Battery Stewardship Organization for Manitoba. And I'll be reviewing our renewal plan for 2023 through 2028. Jumping into our agenda here, I'll just give it a quick glance and jump right in. Okay, about Call to Recycle, we're a nationwide battery collection and recycling program. We've been in operation since 1997. We collect and recycle standalone and replacement primary and rechargeable household batteries. In the regulated provinces, our program is funded through environmental handling fees remitted from the sales of our regulated household batteries. We also operate on a voluntary basis, and in those provinces, we're funded by manufacturers of batteries and by manufacturers of battery-powered products. We have over 400 program members, including manufacturers, importers, distributors, and retailers. Jumping into Manitoba specifically, batteries are regulated under the Household Hazardous Material and Prescribed Material Stewardship Regulation. Our Manitoba program has been in operation since 2011 under an approved plan. Since then, we have collected over 950,000 kilograms of batteries in the province and diverted them from the waste stream. In 2021 alone, we reached 140,000 kilograms. We are continuing to see an increase in collection volume year over year. The current program plan was for 2018 through 2023. And as I mentioned, our program has experienced steady growth for the last 10 years as a result of many awareness-raising events, media and advertising efforts, and participation by our dedicated network of collection site operators, encouraging their employees, customers, and communities to recycle their batteries. The environmental handling fee covers all costs of the program, including program design and administration, public education, collections and collection compensation, end-of-life management and processing, transportation, and reporting. Our accepted program materials are standalone and replacement household dry cell batteries weighing 5 kilograms or less. Our single-use batteries include alkaline, silver oxide, zinc air, zinc carbon, and lithium primary. And our rechargeable batteries include small sealed lead acid batteries, nickel metal hydride, nickel zinc, lithium ion, and nickel cadmium. And we also include batteries sold in or with a product, including garden tools, construction and renovation tools, smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, portable flashlights and spotlights, e-toys, e-bikes, e-scooters, e-skateboards. Managing obligated materials. Calder Recycle commits to using third parties to transport, sort, and process all obligated materials with preference to Manitoba-based businesses. Calder Recycle commits to managing and paying all costs that these third parties incur in handling our obligated materials on behalf of the producers, our members. Calder Recycle routinely uses a transparent and competitive bidding process, combining both cost and service levels to select our third-party partners. Our transportation and battery processing partners have passed a rigorous selection process to ensure that they comply with applicable environmental, health and safety, and transportation regulations. And we continually monitor each processor to ensure competitive pricing and an ability to adapt to increases in volume. Safe, ethical, and certified program management. Calder Recycle undergoes inspections to maintain industry recognized certifications like these listed below, including R2 Responsible Recycling Certification, which certifies that management practices are comprehensive from environmental, health and safety, and data security practices. And we're also currently updating our R2 certification to include ISO 9001, which is a quality management system. Our dispute resolution process, where contracts are in place, dispute resolutions procedures is outlined within the agreement. Arbitration will only be used if both parties cannot come to a reasonable solution. It's a two-step process. Once an issue has been raised in writing, representatives from Calder Recycle and the other party will attempt to resolve the issue within 30 days or a mutually agreed upon time frame. And the second step is if the parties cannot come to a resolution within that time frame, both parties will jointly select a third party to arbitrate and settle the dispute with his or her decision. And we operate in good faith with our partners and will try to resolve any dispute without arbitration. Collection sites and accessibility. The program is offered at no cost to consumers dropping off their batteries at our collection sites, and for those signing up as collection site partners. Calder Recycle collection facilities use one of two collection methods. We have a bulk program using drums, and we also have our box program. Our bulk program caters to facilities that generate large quantities of batteries for recycling and is set at a minimum of 230 kilograms per shipment. Our program also collects batteries weighing up to 5 kilograms from collection facilities located across the province for consumer convenience. Batteries are shipped and sorted by chemistry and then sent to our processing partners after that, where their component parts are extracted for reuse in products such as new batteries, stainless steel alloy, and roadbed aggregate additives. Since we had a dip in collection sites during COVID, and I'm happy to say that we have had a 50% increase in our collection sites since that time. We currently have 755 active sites, including 352 public sites and 403 private sites. Our current level of accessibility is 90%. And accessibility is defined as the percentage of the population that is within 15 kilometers of a collection service. A little bit on our box program. Our battery collection and recycling programs, easy to set up, easy to operate, and requires minimal resources from staff. Our consumer battery collection boxes are as shown here. and are easy to manage and come affixed with flame retardant liners for safe management and transport. We have prepaid Pure Later shipping slips that come with each box delivery, and it makes the pickups easy for staff to coordinate. And we also have a dedicated customer service team available for immediate response for all program inquiries. Jumping to our accessibility targets, as I mentioned, 90% of the Manitoba population has a drop-off location within 15 kilometers of their home, and we will continue to improve this over time. Improvements will be made to increase the number of collection facilities or collection methods in non-urban communities, remote communities, as well as First Nation communities. By the end of 2028, we are committed to reaching 95% of the population, having them within 15 kilometers of a public collection site. So if you look at the targets here, we're currently at 90%, so we'll be ramping up each year until we meet that target. A little bit on remote and First Nations communities. These communities include geographic areas not serviced by Canada Post, only accessible by plane or ice roads in the winter, and they have low population density spread out over a large area. Some of the issues are in servicing these communities. They include land transport accessibility, cost of service, and infrastructure. We currently work with other producer responsibility organizations to provide recycling services to these communities, available only through seasonal ice roads. And we'll continue to focus on alleviating the challenges in these remote and First Nations communities. The project focuses on ensuring communities have the required materials to collect, store, and safely transport designated stewardship material from their communities. Jumping into the recovery rates. So we had a dip of recovery rate during the COVID years. We are currently sitting at 20% recovery rate. We are ambitious and hoping that we reach 32% by 2028. There are challenges when reaching these recovery rate targets, as I specify here. So the life of a battery is increasing over time, which reduces the need to replace those batteries. And the longer lifespan a battery has, the longer it takes to come into collection after being sold. The type of battery, we are seeing that primary batteries are slowly being replaced with rechargeable batteries, which tend to have a much longer lifespan. Some of these batteries can cycle more than 2,000 times. I personally have batteries I have had for over 5 years. Purchase habits. Batteries are generally purchased in large or multiple quantities in bulk packs rather than small packs of, say, 2 to 4. They can be bought in quantities of 20 or more. And quite often, individuals will use these bulk packs, use a few batteries at a time, and they will have a multi-year shelf life. There's also the hoarding issue, where consumers may keep spent batteries for a long time before they recycle them. Consumer type batteries are typically small and can be easily stored at home. And thus consumers have no immediate urge to recycle them until they reach a certain threshold amount. Jumping to consumer awareness, Call to Recycle commits to continuous improvement for public education and awareness over the next 5 years. This will be measured by Call to Recycle's existing annual consumer awareness study for battery recycling behavior. In addition to this, our traditional and digital strategies include our Call to Recycle website, Google AdWords, social media, our customer service call center, point of sale signage and handouts available to all retailers, also available on our website. We also conduct sponsorships and collaborations with like-minded associations. And in regard to traditional advertising, we do operate through print, TV, and radio. And we also conduct media relations outreach. So our survey focuses on 2 metrics. The first metric being battery recycling awareness, which is the percentage of residents aware that household batteries can be recycled in Manitoba. Our current battery recycling awareness in our most recent survey was 76%. So you'll see through 2024 to 2028, we are hoping to ramp up our battery recycling awareness progressively through time. And the second metric we use for consumer awareness is battery recycling incidents, which is the percentage of residents who have recycled their batteries in Manitoba. Currently, that number sits at 50%, and we are hoping to ramp up from 52% in the first year in 2024, all the way up to 60% in 2028. And we will also be increasing our communications and marketing budget in order to accommodate reaching these targets. So a quick summary, just to wrap up the slide deck here. We're committing to increasing our marketing and communications for greater program awareness and recycling. We're increasing our consumer awareness of battery recycling from 76% to 82%. We're increasing incidence and frequency of battery recycling from 52% to 60%. And we also commit to increasing our accessibility of collection sites from the current 90% to 95% at the end of this 5-year duration. We also are ambitious and committing to a recovery rate of 32% by 2028. Thank you very much for attending, and I highly encourage you to submit comments and feedback to our email at mbplan@calltorecycle.ca. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. That was excellent information. And again, we're going to be putting out a newsletter with your plans and everyone else on this call as well. I'm going to throw it now to Delphine Lagourgue, President of the Stewardship Programs Health Products Stewardship Association. I hope I got that title correct. Hi, Delphine.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to see you. Yes, please go ahead.
There we go. So thank you, everybody. I'd like to commend my two prior colleagues for keeping up with the 15-minute allotted. Welcome, everybody. So thank you, Matthew. My name is Delphine Lagourgue. I am the Vice President of Stewardship Program at the Health Products Stewardship Association. Today's webinar presentation is part of the 2023 consultation on the renewal of HPSA Manitoba Medication Return Program Plan and Manitoba Shard Collection Program Plan. This is the third of 3 presentations that have been held for this consultation. The consultation period runs until the 25th of January. And up until that time, you have the opportunity to ask questions and forward comments at the specific email address that will be provided in the presentation. The objective today is to provide you with an overview of the plan as they will be submitted to the Manitoba Department, as well as allow time for questions and comments. Allow me to move to the next slide. And provide you a high-level overview of HPSA by the number. HPSA is a national non-for-profit producer responsibility organization acting as agent representing as agent on our members' behalf. We represent close to 150 members of pharmaceutical manufacturers or brand owner. We've been on operation for 22 years, and we operate not only in Manitoba 2 programs, but in other provinces. We currently have both medication return program and sharp return program. So Just to start, allow me to provide you with a few reminders about the program. So HPSP has been in operation in Manitoba since 2011. We currently have two programs in place, the Manitoba Medication Return and Manitoba Sharp Collection Program. So the third renewal for the medication plan was started in 2011. It was renewed in 2018, and today is the third one. The second renewal for the Sharp program plan, the first ever program plan for Sharp was enacted in 2022. So to facilitate consolidation, a consultation streamline government review, a decision was made to consolidate both programs into one plan. There is indeed commonality in both of those programs in the nature of products that are collected, in the collection network used, and how HPSA communicates to its stakeholders, to the public at large, to patients on the existing of those collection programs. There is no operational change to the program, only the performance measures are being updated. Allow me now to briefly provide you an overview of where we are in the consultation process. The consolidated plan has been posted onto HPSA website since December 19th. There are 3 webinars scheduled, as mentioned. Today is the last one. Once the consultation period closes on January 25th, comment will be inserted into the plan, and on the 31st or before, of course, HPSA will be submitted the plan to Environment, Climate and Public. So moving on, what are the product obligated? So we're talking about 2 sets of product under the Manitoba regulation. On the one side, the pharmaceutical, any unwanted or expired medication, such as prescription drugs, over-the-counter medication, or a natural health product, can be returned by patient to a specific collection location sites, as well as any used medical sharp for self-injecting or self-monitoring at home by a patient, such as infusion sets or infusion pods, lancets, needles, pen tips, pre-fill syringes, cartridges, auto-injectors, pen injector, or syringes can be returned to the collection location sites. So how does the program work? HPSA operates both the medication and sharp return program with the support and collaboration of retail pharmacies in Manitoba. Any pharmacy wanting to participate does it on a voluntary basis. There are no costs associated with the participation, and HPSA pays for the supplies, their delivery, and the pickup of waste. Name of the pharmacy and its address are inserted into our geolocator, so that member of the public or patient can locate their nearest collection site. HPSA label containers are distributed to pharmacies by a service provider that we contracted with, and the container is to be located behind the dispensary. Pharmacies will place consumer returns in the container. All packaging should have been removed by patients and personal information blacked out. Only the liquid, gel, or powder in their original vials can be placed directly into the medication container. There is no limitation on the quantity of medication that a member of the public, a patient, can drop off at a pharmacy. And the HPSA contracted service provider shall come and pick up the container, usually at the same time as the clean supplies are being delivered. Of note, once the liner and its content are incinerated, the container is washed, inspected, and put back into circulation. The Sharp collection program is set up in a similar fashion. The medical Sharp container being provided in a kit, That kit contains 24 shard containers with a biohazard symbol and HPSA label for cytotoxic, as well as 2 return boxes. Pharmacists distribute medical shard containers for free to patients or members of the public at large, usually with a prescription for self-injecting or self-monitoring medical devices containing a shard. It is important to note that in terms of collection, not only the HPSA label containers are accepted, but any other hard-shelled container with a biohazard symbol are accepted into our program. Also of importance, there shall be no shard container used by a pharmacy for COVID or flu shot immunization campaign. Those should be part of each pharmacy's commercial waste stream, and because vaccines are not considered consumer returns. Similar as with the medication program, the service provider will come and pick up the full container from the collection site and transport to an incineration or waste energy facility, depending on availability. Moving on to the next slide. You can see a chart going back to 2017, a year just before the last renewal for medication, listing the number of retail pharmacy participating in Manitoba as a collection site. That percentage reached as such. In 2021, for example, 90.4% of pharmacies registered with the Manitoba College were registered with HPSA and part of the collection network. We have not added it, as was recently compiled last week, but for 2022, the number increased slightly to 415 pharmacies versus 404 in 2021. In terms of collection in the last 5 years, the numbers have been quite stable on the unwanted medication side, with an average of 17,000 kilograms collected per year. As an FYI, the total volume of unwanted medication collected since 2011 in Manitoba is 176,000 kilograms. It looks as though 2022 will be a very strong year in terms of collection for medication due to hoarding trends from patients during COVID that now need to discard unused or expired medication. The shard collection program, which just started officially in 2021, has shown some even stronger returns for 2022. This is due in part to answering a need from residents of having a safe way to return used medical shards, and probably some COVID volume that accidentally found their way into the HPSA numbers. Moving on now to promotion and education of the program. The objective of HPSA communication campaign will continue to educate Manitobans on the safe disposal of unwanted medication and used medical shards, and to ensure environmental and health protection for everyone. The communication methods for promoting the programs will consist of a mix of websites, assets, and video that are going to be posted on our HPSA website, points of return, and working in collaboration with pharmacy banners, earned media, as well as social media advertising. HPSA will continue to work with identified stakeholders, such as the Manitoba Pharmacy Association, retailers and pharmacy banners, as well as independent or community pharmacies. We will continue to collaborate and work with other stewardship programs and participating in ambassador program every summer, for example, as well as working with industry-related organizations such as Drug Free Kids Canada, and patient-specific organization for diabetes or arthritis, for example. And finally, we will work on ensuring that our partner pharmacists are educated and have the necessary support in order to continue to provide a successful program. Moving on to resources for pharmacies and general public, all educational assets for general public and for pharmacists are available on HPSA website. And consumer can also locate their nearest collection site by entering their postal code on the drop-off location map. Now moving on to proposed performance metrics for the next 5-year plan 2023-2028. HPSA proposes 4 performance metrics. First one is pharmacy participation targets. The objective is to maintain the participation rate of provincially updated retail pharmacy to 90%. The baseline, we will be taking the baseline of 2021. Pharmacy participation was at 90% or 404. Some examples of proposed tactics will be to participate in pharmacist conference to promote the program, monthly outreach to non-participating or newly registered pharmacies, regular communication with pharmacies on the program update, and survey pharmacies on how easy they find the programs and service to use. The second proposed performance metrics is to increase accessibility in underserviced areas of Manitoba. With regard to the baseline this year in 2023, HPSA will conduct a GIS survey to identify gaps in the province and create a baseline. Upon developing that baseline, this will be reported in the annual report. Example of proposed tactics is to continue our participation in the Winter Road project, develop communication assets specific to First Nation, outreach to nursing stations and health centers, collaborate with the federal government, work with stewardship agencies to increase exposure through communication and share events, and promote the program through partnership with MAR. The third proposed performance metrics is with regard to consumer awareness. 2% increase in consumer awareness based on the 2021 results. Our baseline is the following. In 2021, 62% of Manitobans having unwanted medication at home proved to know how to properly dispose of them. And that same knowledge for used medical sharps was at 53%. So, in terms of the strategy, HPSA will continue to conduct biannual surveys to assess consumer awareness in 2023. Our next survey is scheduled for next month, in 2025 and 2027. Example of proposed tactics, we will continue to work with stewardship agencies to increase exposure through communication and share events. We will continue to promote the programs through earned media, advertising, special event, and partnership, and secure publicity in annual recycling calendars, as well as continue to support special initiatives. The fourth and last proposed performance metrics is with regard to the consumer usage, and a 2% increase in consumer usage based on 2021 results. The baseline is the following. In 2021, among those who usually had unwanted medication at home, 58% returned them to a pharmacy. As for the medical sharps, 74% returned full sharps container to a pharmacy. In terms of strategy, HPSA will continue to conduct biannual survey to assess consumer usage in 23, 25, and 27. And as example of proposed tactics, we will partner with disease-specific organizations to promote the program to patients. and participate in pharmacist educational event to promote the program benefits and encourage pharmacists to talk with members of the public. Thank you very much for your time. Let me just move on to providing you the web page, and thank you very much, Matthew.
Thank you very much, Delphine. We're going to now open the floor to questions. Colin with Call to Recycle unfortunately had some technical difficulties. I have speaking difficulties, but their presentation will be up online as well at HRAI. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box or our chat, and we can address them now. Or if you'd like to take the time to have an extra long lunch, please go ahead. Maybe we can get Delphine, Jason, Kathleen to turn on their cameras once more as we kind of take these questions. Thank you so much. Maybe one question I can offer to you guys is, based on the information you're presenting, what are kind of next steps or actions that viewers can take, or in terms of the consultation or things, changes they can put in their own organizations? Maybe we'll start there.
I will start. As the consultation period is nearing to a close, it is very important to get any kind of comment and feedback. It doesn't have to be a questions, but rather comments based on past experience on the program, any recommendation. We're always happy to hear. We're in the HPSA is very keen on continuous improvements. There are always competing priorities, and we want to hear from people that are using the program that might have some issues. It could be pharmacists, it could be patients, it could be member of the public at large, or even municipalities. But we're always happy to hear about comment and feedback.
Yeah, and to second that, Delphine, I completely agree. I welcome any questions or feedback. They ultimately make the plan that much better at the end of the day.
Maybe another one too is a takeaway from this call is, how important are these plans? I mean, we talk about a little bit of transformation required, but why is that transformation important? What is the ultimate intent behind these transformations environmentally?
I can just comment on that. Just really, we're all here to protect the environment, I think. So as much as we can get things out of the, landfill and recycle them, and awareness and, continuous improvement, more accessibility, more higher collection targets, we're all just really here to, I think, is help the environment and do our part.
Thank you so much. We do have a question from Scott Cameron. Are there any plans to improve the program for Freon and other products at landfills? It is currently the largest hole in steward programs. It can be frustrating not being able to accept the products easily.
I think this is more a question for the Manitoba government in terms of obligated products.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure if there is a member of the government, but this is definitely a platform that we can use to consolidate those questions or comments and forward them to the Manitoba government.
Thank you. Another question from Deb. Kathleen, the recycling center I run has a pail for thermostats. Do we promote collection of non-mercury thermostats?
Yes, we collect the electronic ones as well. So we collect both in the program. We report to the province of Manitoba on the mercury containing thermostats, but absolutely, they're part of our program.
Thank you. Another one from Mike Fernandez. Hi folks, Manitoba communities and recyclers play an important role in your programs. How do you foresee your organization working with communities to increase collaboration going forward?
Go ahead.
I was just about to say, for communities and recyclers that we already work with, we absolutely want to hear any feedback or questions, ways that we can help them conduct their business or recycle in their community easier. And for any communities and recyclers we don't currently work with, we absolutely welcome any inquiries and would love to work with you.
Thank you. Follow up to Scott's comment in regards to the Freon question. He said definitely for the government. It was a question for the government. I was just curious if there was any dialogue behind the scenes, but I think you answered that. Great. I think if there's no further questions, we all did a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much, Kathleen, Jason, Delphine, for showing up today and conveying this important initiative.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. This will be available at HRAI's YouTube page if you want to refer to it later. And thank you so much for everyone who joined us today.
Bye.